Recently, Google Glass has been getting a lot of bad press, mostly because of privacy and the fact you can take photos of people without them knowing. It got me thinking about street photography and how in street photography you generally take photos of people without them knowing, and certainly without their permission. I'm here in Derby to talk to a mobile phone street photographer, and I'm going to ask him about how Google Glass can influence mobile phone street photography. So I'm here with Misho Baranovic, and I'm going to ask him about what his thoughts on mobile phone photography and Google Glass are. So Misho, why do you think using mobile phones is better for shooting street photography than using compact cameras?
For me, I wouldn't say it's better. I think it's like anything, it's the tools that you find that work for you. I've been shooting on phones, primarily iPhones, for the last 3 years, and first started using it when I was going to and from work, and I realised I had a camera on me and I was just snapping away as I was riding my bicycle, not really treating it seriously as a camera. And I guess over time I realised that I was a little bit more fluid and free with the way I shot, and I kept being more and more drawn to the streets, and realised I could be a little bit more invisible with the phone. I could, I don't know, didn't have much control at the start, so I really had to focus on getting my lighting right, getting in the right position, and kind of removed a lot of distractions. So it really became about the pure composition rather than the controls of the camera. Obviously over time that's increased, and now you can pretty much do anything you want with a phone camera, and you can get a lot more kind of specific and structured with the way that you shoot. But yeah, so it's allowed me to be free and loose with my photography. I can get rid of my shots straight away. I can take them, I can edit them, and then I can send them into the world, and I can focus on the next photograph, so I don't have to dwell too much on the way that I shoot. And yeah, I can blend into the world a little bit more than I can with a big camera. Yeah. And also, finally, the iPhone lets you touch exposed and lets you you feel like you're painting with light, so you can really control like very specifically how you want the scene to look on the touch screen, which isn't possible yet on SLR.
So what are your thoughts on Google Glass for street photography?
I don't know. I'd say, well, of course, like any technology, it has to be, because you're able to capture whatever you're seeing in that moment quicker and easier than ever before. So that will translate into another extraordinary boom of imagery. From what I've seen of Google Glass in its current iteration, it's very much just automatic exposure and kind of balanced light. So as a recording device, it's fine because you're not too fussed about how beautiful things look. So you have to look kind of right and kind of representative. Photographers do much more than that in the way that they manipulate a light. So I'm sure you'll then reach a point where kind of wearable cameras will offer far more control in the way that you want to perceive the world, and I think that's when you'll get some very interesting stuff happening. But I'm sure now that there's people taking amazing photographs and video with Google Glass which are artistic and beautiful, and they're able to manipulate the technology to suit their own kind of needs. That's what happened with the iPhone. People, as soon as it's available, will do things with it that you could never have imagined. So,
yeah. And finally, there's quite a lot of controversy with Google Glass, especially with the fact that you can take photos without people's permission, but that's and also certainly without consent. So I sort of think that's sort of a little bit related to street photography, and the fact that you can take photos.
look, like anything, if you're in a public place, I have no qualms about kind of documenting people in space. I think if we start to think we're extra special or something, we lose something in the way that we document history, and we document the present day to show what it was like, so then it can become a historical reference point. We're always filmed in the street by surveillance cameras, by Google, in their satellites. So if we start to self-impose ourselves, it's a silly thing to do. So yeah, you know you're going to end up in a lot of people's videos, but that's just the way the world is going, and it'll be problematic if it's in private space and where there is an expectation of privacy and that's breached, but within the public code, I think it's free for all. Yeah.
So along the walk with Misho, we really learned that we can find our own style of shooting, and in fact Misho even found a new camera which he enjoyed taking photos with.
So what did we learn today? Well, we've learned that it doesn't really matter what you shoot with. You can shoot with an iPhone, an old one in fact, you can shoot with a Fuji X100, you can shoot film if you really want it, and even Google Glass. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you shoot with, it's what you feel comfortable taking photos with. And that really is all that matters, isn't it, in the end?